Hello everyone, welcome to Adira's Easy Talks. Today we are going to talk about the father of modern English literature, Geoffrey Chaucer. And Chaucer was a major late medieval writer, and he lived at the time when lots of turmoils and transformations were happening in England and Europe. There are various things that happened during the time. First thing is 100 Years' War, and it was between France and England, and this was the time of Black Death. Then there was a peasant revolt broke out. Peasants wanted a better life, better living conditions. They wanted wages. And this was during the time of Chaucer. But indeed, it gave some new importance to the ordinary people as well. During that period, literature, especially poetry, changed from oral to written. Advent of printing press can be seen. Then French and Latin were still among the nobility and clergy. English was established as a vernacular language. It was an age of chivalry and feudalism. Constitutional liberty has been asserted during the period. Then, during that time, Chaucer lived, French and Latin were the important languages, and English was not a literary language during that time. So, French was the language of the aristocracy, and Latin was the language of the episcopacy or the clergy. A lot of poetry were written in French and prose in Latin, and there was no work written in English. And it was Chaucer who wrote in English. Okay. Chaucer lived at a time when vernacular literature were on its rise. Okay. Some of his contemporaries include the Langland. He wrote The Vision of Pius the Plowman. Then we have John Gower's Confessi Amandis. Then we have John Wycliffe, who translated the Bible into English. And this was the beginning of Renaissance. Okay. Then talking about Geoffrey Chaucer. Chaucer was born in London as a son of viner or wine merchant, and he died in 1400 of unknown cause. He started small and grew big. He studied law, became a diplomat, and a very important figure in the court. He married Philippa Rua in 1366. Okay, and this Philippa Rua was the sister of John of Gaunt's third wife. This John of Gaunt is Chaucer's patron, and he was the most popular nobleman in England at that time, and he was the first Duke of Lancaster. He was the son of Edward. Okay, Chaucer even wrote this John of Gaunt into one of his work, the Book of the Duchess. We can have the reference there. Then Chaucer wrote in East Midland dialect. Very important. Chaucer wrote in East Midland dialect. He was an outstanding English poet before Shakespeare and the first finder of our language. Okay. His contribution was during the second half of the 14th century, and in that career, he was trusted and aided by three kings. They were Edward III, Richard II, and Henry IV. The name Chaucer is derived from the French word chaussier, meaning a maker of footwear. So his financial success derived from wine and leather. About his birth, talking about his birth, in Recordically it was written 1314, but the date might be on 1342 or 1343 in real. There is no information about his early education and early years, but in some books there is a reference to St. Paul's Cathedral School. He also became competent in Latin as well as Italian. And in 1357, he became a public servant to Elizabeth, the Countess of Ulster, wife of Lionel, and the third son of Edward III. Okay. Then in 1359, Chaucer became a member of Edward II's army in France and was captured during the successful siege of Reims. King Edward III contributed or paid 16 pounds of ransom to release this Chaucer. And after release, he joined the royal service. In 1366, he was married to Philippa Rua, and this Philippa Rua was the daughter of Sir Penrose, and the marriage conveniently helped him to establish his career in the English court. From 1370 to 1373, he went abroad again and fulfilled diplomatic missions in Florence and Geneva. And there he was helped to establish as an English poet in Geneva. He spent time familiarizing himself with the works of Italian poets like Dante, Petrarch, etc. And in 1372 to 1378, during his trip to Italy, he discovered the works of Dante, Boccaccio, and Petrarch. In 1386, he was elected as a member of parliament. In 1387, Philippa Rua passed away, and in 1400, he passed away, and he was the first poet to be buried in the Westminster Abbey. And this Westminster Abbey was later called as the Poets' Corner. In the next video, in the next class, we will be talking about Chaucer's work. Actually, I have divided the age of Chaucer into three parts. The first part will be on, as I have talked, will be the background of Chaucer's age and about his background. In the next video, I'll be talking about the works of Chaucer. And after that, in another video, I'll be adding the critics who have made comments about this Chaucer. So thank you. Keep watching.